A sensation has occurred. Gentlemen and ladies, global banks have begun purchasing millions of XRP Ripple currency. More specifically, banks have bought more than 10 billion XRP tokens. The most intriguing aspect of this extremely positive indication is that cryptocurrency specialists believe XRP Ripple may reach $20,000. Don't miss a second of this video. It's very awesome. Let's dissect it in detail. Disclaimer. Following the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision report showing that 19 international banks own XRP as part of their cryptocurrency investment portfolios, the XRP community has been a flurry of activity. Given the growing institutional acceptance of the asset, this disclosure is crucial to XRP's legitimacy and long-term worth. With $27 billion in total crypto exposure, these institutions have made XRP the third most important altcoin in their portfolios, highlighting its significance in the changing financial environment. How financial institutions deal with cryptocurrencies is greatly influenced by the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, a powerful regulatory body that monitors international banking standards. The reporting of XRP holdings by banks in various jurisdictions is a definite sign that the asset is now seen as a real investment with real-world uses rather than just another speculative digital currency. Renowned XRP supporter Jack the Rippler informed his followers on X about the study, highlighting how it confirms XRP's position in the cryptocurrency market. According to the data, XRP is worth about $25. Only Bitcoin and Ethereum are ranked higher in terms of institutional preference among the $27 billion in reported cryptocurrency exposure. The fact that XRP is the most popular altcoin in bank holdings, despite Bitcoin and Ethereum possessing a combined 50% share, indicates a major shift in mood. The notion of an XRP buyout is among the most fascinating conversations that have emerged from this research. According to the argument, if big banks and financial organizations amass substantial holdings in XRP, they may eventually control a sizable portion of the entire supply, restricting its availability on the open market. This situation might result in a supply shock, when demand exceeds supply and pushes the price of XRP to previously unheard-of heights. The potential of XRP as a bridge currency for cross-border payments is a major factor in why banks and other financial organizations would be interested in purchasing huge amounts of the cryptocurrency. In contrast to Ethereum, which forms the basis of smart contracts, and Bitcoin, which is frequently considered digital gold, XRP was created to facilitate real-time financial transactions. Because of Ripple's global connections and adherence to regulatory standards, banks seeking to cut expenses and speed transactions find XRP to be a compelling option. The notion that banks might someday use XRP as a key element of a new financial system is further highlighted by the growing institutional interest in the asset. Retail investors could find it difficult to obtain sizable quantities at reasonable costs if financial institutions were to actively stockpile XRP, which could result in a dramatic price spike. The fact that 19 international banks already own XRP is a significant turning point that could influence its future course. This study highlights the asset's increasing significance in institutional finance and may signal the start of a wider banking adoption trend. With XRP's practical applications growing, a substantial price increase is becoming more likely. Rally becomes more plausible, particularly if the buyout scenario is successful. Will XRP serve as the foundation of a new financial system with banks controlling the majority of its supply? If so, the cryptocurrency market may be about to undergo a historic change that might push XRP's price to previously unthinkable heights. However, let's discuss the price potential of the real gamechanger XRP. Some voices in the XRP community are daring to dream large because, despite banks secretly amassing millions in XRP holdings, the key question is how high it can go. Trust me, the price projection from leading crypto analysts will shock you. Prominent game developer and XRP industry expert Chad Steinreiber has even gone so far as to speculate that XRP would eventually reach a price of $20,000 per token. Although some may find that number absurd, Steinreiber contends that a number of variables could be responsible for this extraordinary increase. His main argument is that XRP's deflationary supply distinguishes it from many other cryptocurrencies. Due to transaction burns, the overall circulating supply of XRP tokens is gradually declining, with a fixed supply cap of 100 billion tokens. A tiny amount of XRP is permanently destroyed with each transaction, thereby reducing the total number of tokens that are available. Even though this process might appear gradual, it could eventually compound. Steinreiber goes on to say that the amount of XRP in circulation might decrease to as few as 21 million tokens, which would be comparable to the hard restriction on Bitcoin. Given the constrained supply and rising demand, a significant price increase may be inevitable. To achieve the desired $20,000 goal at the current price, this would require an astounding 850,063% growth. Although it's a bold prediction, given XRP's distinct position in the market, it's not completely out of the question. Another well-known figure in the community, Amonix, hinted at what the tweet might include. "You don't know what's going to happen." This mysterious statement, which implies that something significant is imminent, heightens the excitement among XRP aficionados. "Looks like XRP is accumulating before the massive explosion after breaking new highs," Quinvos said, adding to the excitement. As XRP seems to be gaining traction, these forecasts seem less like unrealistic hopes and more like real possibilities. In fact, even celebrities like Steph are joining the fray and forecasting that XRP will soon rise 65 times. Although these aggressive price estimates appear nearly unreal, they are based on a mix of increased institutional interest, real-world utility, and a potential change in the regulatory landscape. Unquestionably, XRP has some of the most powerful support in the sector, including alliances with significant financial institutions and an expanding network of validators that back the XRP ledger. The general view of XRP as an investment asset is changing along with the cryptocurrency market. According to XRP Hawker's tweet, many people who believe in the ecosystem's future consider XRP reaching $100 as a possible aim. There is a growing sense of confidence in XRP's future due to its deflationary mechanics, worldwide use cases, and growing acceptance as a store value. Although the exact direction of XRP's price cannot be predicted, it is evident that the project is developing and gaining momentum. Although the path to $20,000 may be lengthy, XRP may surprise many with its growth potential if certain conditions are met, including as greater usage, a deflationary supply, and greater clarity in the regulatory environment. Crazy, yes, but this is only the beginning, and things will soon get even more crazy. When the entire financial system is transformed by Ripple's technology, the price of XRP may rise to levels no one could have predicted. This might be the most optimistic indication ever. Imagine a world where sending money across borders is as quick as sending an email, where fees are reduced to pennies, and where every transaction is logged in real time for total transparency. You can't afford to miss what's coming next. This isn't a dream anymore. Ripple and XRP are working relentlessly to make it a reality. XRP's potential for widespread adoption is nothing short of revolutionary. Furthermore, if we're being completely honest, it's probably going to raise the price in ways that nobody could have anticipated. According to a recent tweet by Eric Trump, there is not a single thing that those banks do that can't be done cheaper, more efficiently, and faster on blockchain. This is a bold claim, but it accurately sums up the impending transition to a blockchain-powered future, and XRP is well positioned to spearhead that change. The evidence is mounting, and this shift is already under motion. In a recent post, well-known cryptocurrency influencer X Finance Bull brought attention to an important development. XRP is positioned to completely replace SWIFT, not merely compete with it. SWF, the conventional method of international payments, is sluggish, expensive, and rife with inefficiencies. A quick transaction may take 1 to 5 days to clear, and each transaction may cost anything from $10 to $50. On the other hand, the identical transaction can be completed in a matter of seconds using XRP and Ripple's Interledger protocol for a fraction of the price, often only a few cents. Take the example given by Capital's creator, Michael Arrington, who sent $50 million using XRP in just 3 seconds and for about 30. This clear difference between XRP's and SWIFT's transaction capabilities highlights XRP's ability to upend the global financial system. XRP is more than just cheaper and faster. It is more open, provides real-time transaction tracking, and works with many different financial systems, something that SWIFT just cannot accomplish due to its limited reach. Ripple has a clear vision. Get rid of the expenses, delays, and friction that come with using outdated technologies, like SWIFT. The groundwork for widespread adoption is being established with the Bank of England and other leading financial institutions now investigating XRP and Interledger protocol. The decentralized nature of XRP offers an additional degree of attraction by guaranteeing security without requiring centralized middlemen. Cross-border payments may be significantly impacted by this, particularly in underdeveloped areas with limited access to regular banking services. The main conclusion is that widespread use of XRP has the potential to both transform cross-border money transfers and drive its price to previously unthinkable heights. As infrastructure is being constructed, and the inefficiencies of old systems are gradually becoming more widely acknowledged, the development of XRP seemed inevitable. XRP is prepared to take the lead as the financial industry moves toward blockchain, and when it does, the price impact might be profound. Naturally, we also cannot overlook the whales. Let's examine what they are stockpiling. But why is this important to us? The answer is straightforward. The price of XRP could soar due to these enormous holders. I promise you that these figures will astound you. This is something you shouldn't miss. Thus, Chad Steingraber recently revealed a startling fact on the biggest holders of XRP. The top 50 wallets possess an astounding 30 billion XRP, while the top 10 XRP addresses jointly contain over 10.6 billion XRP coins, according to data supplied by Steingraber. This represents almost half of all XRP in circulation, underscoring the enormous concentration of tokens in the hands of a comparatively small number of people. Ripple itself and a number of significant exchanges, including Uphold, Binance, Bithum, and Upbit, are among the largest holders. For example, Ripple has several escrow wallets that hold billions of XRP. 4 of these wallets alone carry almost 5 billion XRP apiece. These are managed via Ripple's escrow system, which has generated a lot of discussion because of its possible effects on XRP's market liquidity. With one address holding more than 1 billion XRP, exchanges like Uphold are also significant participants and further centralize the supply. The most fascinating finding is that, even though there are significant amounts of XRP stored on different platforms, Steingraber thinks that the real amount of XRP in circulation on exchanges is far less than most people think. According to his analysis, a sizable amount of the entire supply has either been lost or is held in long-term positions by people who aren't actively trading. He calculates that there are only roughly 20 billion XRP available on exchanges, which adds to what he refers to as a low-supply environment. In response, Rookery Hart, another community member, made the intriguing observation that there is a very small amount of XRP available on exchanges. This makes it possible for even a little infusion of purchasing power from a large institutional investor or whale to significantly raise prices. It wouldn't take much to change the supply-demand balance and cause a sharp price increase because a significant amount of XRP is kept in long-term storage or controlled by a small number of companies. The role of whales, or big individuals, or organizations that own a sizable amount of cryptocurrency, is one of the most important components of this dynamic. Because there is such a limited amount of XRP, whales can have a significant impact on the market. By buying a lot of XRP from exchanges or even making calculated purchases, they can cause a scarcity in supply, which would raise the price. This is especially true when the market views XRP as being optimistic overall, especially given Ripple's continuous court triumph over the SEC and the expanding use of its payment technology. By making big transactions knowing that their activities would draw attention and encourage speculative buying from smaller investors, whales might potentially influence market sentiment. As a result, there is a feedback loop whereby the price increase draws in more buyers, which raises the price even more. The activities of these whale holders will probably have a significant impact on XRP's price trajectory as the cryptocurrency continues to gain traction as a possible digital asset. For cross-border payments and remittances, market players should monitor these whale wallets and the potential effects they may have on the price of XRP, as Ripple keeps advancing its argument for the token's legitimacy as a digital asset with use in the global financial system. The delicate balance between market activity and scarcity means that Ripple and whale exchanges will continue to be crucial in determining the destiny of XRP. As these forces interact in the market, there is a good chance that